Okay. Today we're going to talk about like the most difficult and challenging problem in Power BI and Fabric, and that is all these dang different flavors of the same detailed report that everyone wants, right? You have a great report. It's got all of your information. It's got all the details. It looks good. It's got all the stuff there. But Sal wants a few other fields added, and Sally comes in and she wants some different fields, and she thinks Sal's full of bunk and she doesn't want any of that garbage. Well, what the heck are you gonna do? I mean, you got 500 client fields. How are you gonna possibly adjust that, right? What are you gonna do? Well, this video today, we're going to show you how you take on and enable personalized visuals so that you can make it so that your one report handles everyone's needs. Let's get into it. All right, so do the whole YouTube thing. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, share with your friends and family. All that stuff, it really helps me out. If you really want to help out, for as little as $5 a month, you can become a member and get early access to all this content. Okay? So here it is. This is the production report that everyone loves. It's our customer sales detail report. It's great, but it doesn't have some of the stuff that Sal or Sally wants. How do you avoid creating all these duplications, right? There's 500 fields. Like, do you know how many flavors of report that could be? I didn't. So I asked Copilot. I went in and said, okay, what is 500 factorial? So that's how you figure that out. And it's right here. It's 500 factorial is 3.04140.932 times 10 to the 1134th power. That's like as many stars in the galaxy there are, right? Like, that's insanity. We can't do that. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's nuts. All right. Fortunately, we got a great mechanism right inside Power BI that allows us to enable this for users. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my Power BI report. I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to File and Options and Settings. And in Options, I'm going to look down at the bottom. I'm going to be looking in the current file and I'm going to be going into report settings. Okay. So it's super easy to find. It's very obvious that this is a capability. Those are the jokes. You should laugh. Yeah, it's super buried, right? And inside of here, we've got this personalized visuals button right here that if we check this, it'll allow report readers to personalize visuals to suit their needs. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to say okay. Now, the awesome thing when I do that is I don't have to restart Power BI Desktop. It just does it, okay? And now I could see when I go in, I now have a new button inside of my visual here. It's this little like authoring thing. Boy, it's small. I can't get any bigger for you. But when users click on it, they're going to be able to personalize that visual, okay? Now I think you can inside of here, general. I thought there's a way to turn it off. I think there's a way to turn it off on some visuals. I don't necessarily know, but once it's on, it's on. So, okay. All I got to do is save my report and publish this out to the service. Go to reports. It's save, select. This is going to replace the report that's out there. So I'm not going to have to like give out new URLs or any of that stuff. Okay. So it's out there. I got it. So now I can just toggle back to that report, refresh this page. Yeah, I know my report bookmark. I deleted the bookmark. I don't know why it gave me that error, but there's no bookmarks, right? So it's going to load. Boom, here's my report. Now look at this puppy. Now I can see that new icon is right here, okay? When I click on that icon, I'm going to get a pop-up on the side here that allows me to actually see I can go in and I can modify this table. I could even change it from not being a table to something else, but that doesn't make any sense in this context, okay? But I can just go right to, there's a plus sign here, so I can go change the plus sign, or I can change any of the fields that are inside of here. For the purpose of this, I'm going to hit plus. And you're actually seeing there's a little pop-up that comes up here. I'm going to move myself over here so you can see it. All right. So there's a pop-up that comes up. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, okay, for dim customer, I want to have some new base attributes added in. Sal's thing he's asking for is he wants to create like an email mailing list based upon birth date. And so he needs to have the birth date added, and he wants to have the email address added. Okay, and to make it easier on him, I'm gonna move those up to the top, so I've got these in place right here. Now this is great. So Sal's happy, right? Sal's got this in place, but Sal doesn't want to go in and do this every single time, right? Because maybe he wants to use the regular base report from time to time. This is where personalized bookmarks comes into play. So Sal just goes up to here to where the personal bookmarks are. He clicks on personalized bookmarks and he says, add a personalized bookmark. And we're going to call this client, email, birthday, bookmark. All right. I'm going to hit save. I could default view, but I'm just going to hit save on it. And now I have the option, because you can see I've got the reset slicer option available, and I've got the bookmark item available. So I can hit reset. It's going to reset my visual to just be what's normally on the page, right? So gone is the birth date and the email address. That's not there anymore anywhere. And then when I go to bookmarks, I can go to bookmark and I can click on that bookmark that we just created, right? I can click on it and blah freaking dow. I now have a report that Sal, everyone can go in and make the necessary changes to this to make this usable and workable for him. Huh? Isn't that nice? I flippin' love it. All right. So what do you think? This is a great way to make one standardized report that users can go in and modify and work with. I absolutely love it. I think this is fantastic. I got 2 words of warning. 2, not 1, 2. Warning number 1. Make sure that you have proper security inside your model with row level security or object level security, because when someone goes into to manage that, to go in and look at all these different tables and columns, they're going to see it all. They can completely rebuild this report. So if you have like HR stuff that you're really just relying upon security through obscurity, like i.e. just that, well, people can't see it, so how could they use it? Well, when you enable this, they could just swap in all the HR data and then they see it. So you got to make sure you've defined your row level and object level security appropriately inside the model, so that users can't get access to anything that they shouldn't have. Especially in the world of large language models, that's an increasingly important thing. Number 2, if you want to give a better curated experience, uh, look at adding in perspectives into your model. Chris, you say, what the heck's a perspective? A perspective is like a filtering down of objects, measures, columns, tables, all that stuff to just a very select few things. On your personalization on a given visual, you can curate and say, okay, hey, I want to use this perspective for this visual. So when someone goes in to modify it, they can just select from a handful of things. That is not security, okay? That doesn't prevent them from accessing it in other places. And so I want you to be very careful. First thing you do is secure it, then you add perspective for experience, okay? 2 different things, all right? If you want a video on how to create perspectives and the value of that, leave a comment down below and we'll get you one. You know, we're good like that. Me and you, we're good. We got this. All right. You have the best day ever. Peace. I get it. This is a lot going on here. If you need help, head over to bakertilly.com/digital. Click on the Get Some Help form. Myself or one of my colleagues will reach out to you and we'll give you a hand faster than you can. Well, pretty fast. But if you think you can do it, and I know you can, check out this video here or this video here to become or start your own journey to becoming a data guy.